Oh boy, I bet they regret letting him use that. Why doesn't he have that logo in the front of all his other Phil videos? Like, is Machinima only sponsored the King of Hate vlogs?
Hello everybody, Darkside Phil here, and welcome to another edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series, where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest...
Minimum bullshit, because all the bullshit was in my gameplay video instead.
You might actually, unfortunately, have a hard time even calling it a game. It's an anomaly. It's
Are we
kind of
talking about Ground
variety
Zeroes or something else? I kind of missed that when I was talking over him.
That
I guess
a lot
so.
of people are kind of saying, I can't believe this even exists. Others are saying,
Your
oh, I
YouTube
love
career?
it. The reason that there's controversy surrounding
I can't
this
believe
thing
Metal
has
Gear Solid
nothing to
5
do
exists.
with
It wasn't like it was
style,
planned or
the
anything.
substance, the graphics, the art direction, or the gameplay of this game.
Them graphics.
The
Them
problem
graphics,
is
bro!
the fact
I'll
that
say
the
it
game
once every
seems
video,
to
them
have
graphics.
for a pretty hefty price tag for the amount of
30
gameplay
bucks?
that you will receive out of this game.
When the hell was 30 bucks considered hefty besides the 1940s?
And we love it, and it makes sense, and you know, we got our money's worth out of it, and other people...
Madre, be sure not to buy any groceries this week. If we have $30, we can buy a new car, see?
How could they be selling this? It's an anomaly. I mean, seriously, this is the first time I can think of in gaming where we've had a situation like this.
Horse armor?
I really want to discuss today.
No one remembers horse armor?
Content and the more...
Oh, he was
Looks
too
a
busy.
little-
He was too busy playing Street Fighter.
Oh, very
Metal
true,
Gear
very
Solid
true.
Ground Zeroes, or Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, okay?
Yes, thank you for getting it
So a few years
correct.
back,
I would have
now,
hated to have reamed you for just
that,
calling it Ground
Team
Zeroes.
Foxhound, Hideo Kojima, were working on a new Metal Gear Solid, and everyone was very surprised
Foxhound.
because he said, you had told us all along when you were developing Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, that's
that was
Kojima's
Ground
production
Zero.
company, didn't you know?
And so we
Foxhound.
thought that was kind of-
Oh,
It's
Alright.
what happens when he gets pissed off with his current game, Fox, and he leaves them and makes something better.
With this. And so,
And then in the next game, they pretend like it never happened.
everyone kind of put their ear to the ground and found out, oh, okay, this is not the story of the futuristic, you know, Snake who was in Metal Gear Solid 4. This is the story of Big Boss, of the guy who basically started Metal Gear Solid 3 and then Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and is continuing along that story into a new game.
Yep.
So it kind of is like a parallel timeline kind of thing that happened alongside other events in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, and it shouldn't affect
Is that what happens when things take place in the
So,
past?
that being said,
Isn't that why it's called like a
as the game's
prologue
being
to
developed
the series or
several
anything?
years now, we're talking- when
Or a
is it?
prequel?
What the hell's a
Now, what's
prequel?
going on with this game?
Yeah,
And
isn't
we
that why it's
never
called
were really not
prequels?
getting any information on it. It was just told
He's
to
avoiding
us.
the use of prequel because he's still pissed off about Star
Then,
Wars.
the announcement of the next-gen
Oh,
consoles
and he
a
probably
year ago,
loved episode 1 and 2.
Hideo Kojima came out and announced that there was going to be
Or
a game called Metal Gear
3.
Solid 5
He
Ground
probably loved the
Zeroes.
changes
This is going
George
to be
Lucas made.
the prequel, the game that would bridge the gap between Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which was that game on portable devices that then got ported to an HD port on the PlayStation 3.
Yes, we don't need to know how many times it got ported. Just tell us what the game.
That and this modern game that he was making. And a lot of people said, wow, that's interesting, but a prequel game, or what's this going to be?
Prequel
And
game?
everyone
You
kind
mean
of
like
skeptical, but at the
Peace
same time
Walker
said,
and
listen, this
Metal
is
Gear Solid
Kojima,
3?
Foxhound, these guys are good. Whatever they put out,
What's this Metal Gear Solid game gonna
a lot of
be?
polish and a lot of cool Easter
We've
eggs.
never heard of Metal Gear
So
Solid
we're
before.
gonna
What could it possibly be about?
Then, about a month ago, game review media outlets such as Game Informer, IGN, etc. started
Oh,
getting copies of the
both
game
are highly recommended from everyone.
and started literally saying on the
Especially
internet, this
Phil.
game is an hour long. And everyone said, what? There's a game that's being...
The
sold
game
in stores,
is an
not
hour
downloaders.
long.
It's not a demo. It's a game that's going to be sold in stores. That's only an hour long. Now then there was controversy because then people came out and said, no, that's bullshit. That's not true at all.
So,
I think it was
when
actually
is your
Kojima who came out and said that's not true
review?
at all. There's more content than an hour. There's side content.
This is the prequel to the review, dude.
Alright, this is
There's
his
gonna be a
Ground
10
Zeroes.
There's gonna be a 10-year gap in
So
between
for
his
the past month,
review.
there's been this big controversy. How much content will there be in Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes? What is it going to entail?
Are there people who really do complain about the length of Ground Zeroes? And I do mean the length in big quotation marks.
There's a few.
I picked
I
up
got,
the game.
like,
you know, my play out of it.
Anymore.
you play it once and that's it. Like, oh man, an hour for $30. Like, you don't go back and play the side ops, or you play the main mission on hard, or you try other things. You just play it once, one and done.
To the point, it actually has a completely optional mode where it has all the backstory of the game. So if you don't remember Peace Walker, if you don't remember, all the things that Bridge.
I played XCOM until my fingers bled. I couldn't imagine just playing it once and going, okay, done.
They don't do a 4-hour cutscene to catch you up on everything that's been going on. There's a very brief introductory cutscene and it throws you right into the game. And the first thing that struck me when I started playing this game, my God, the graphics on PS4 were amazing.
Graphics.
Dang. I don't even want to edit the video, so I have to put those in. Fuck it.
Let's face it. Usually the character models look good, but anything around the character models, low-res textures, pop-ins, horrible, things don't load right. The draw distance, you try to zoom in with a scope and you can't see too far, or it's not.
Oh, that explains why you did poorly against the
end.
end.
With this game. This game, incredibly detailed, environmental effects, cool, environment things that with the sound. The game looked absolutely good. The lighting, my God, the lighting. This is the first game I think I've ever played where you're running across like a tarmac and the sun's beating down on you. You could see shadows.
I mean, dynamic shadows?
Shadow mapping? What the hell is this?
So realistically that,
this generation is the best.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure dynamic shadows were done in the PS2 era.
You notice the immense amount of effort that were put into the graphics of the game and you're kind of blown away. Keep in mind, I played it on PS4. I have no idea what the other versions of the game look like. Okay?
They look just as fine.
So, you are tasked with the mission of breaking into a Cuban kind of military base and extracting two people, Paz and I forget the name of the other guy. They're two people who were like minor characters in Peace Walker. You need to.
They weren't minor characters.
Minor character. Maybe
were
Chico
big.
was kind of a minor character, but Paz really. Oh, he meant minor as in below the age of 18.
Oh, okay, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Actually kind of tells you what to do, but that doesn't mean you have to do that. You know what I mean?
Remember, he played Peace Walker.
It is completely open world, and I want to emphasize that. For this prison camp, you can go to any point at any time if you can figure out how to do it. For example, there's certain people who walk up to certain doors.
Is Phil sitting on a bed of coals?
There's cars.
Bed of nails.
That drive around.
Yeah.
You drive up to a gate, the gate will open. Oh, now you can sneak through behind the vehicle. There's security cameras that you need to be aware of. If you get viewed by a security camera, all the...
You mean like in every other Metal Gear Solid game? You need to be aware of security cameras?
The gameplay has been refined.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I just realized that there were security cameras in the other video
Some
games.
people are going to say the game's been made too easy. And what I mean by that is...
Yeah, Phil did well in
There was
it.
a guy, I could see him, he was clearly looking my direction, but he was further away, and because he was a certain distance from me, he didn't detect me at all. There were other instances...
I mean, they have a
where there was
POV.
guy who was,
Or
His
not,
head was turned. How did he not see me?
not a POV, a field of view. And you were out of their field of view like in other Metal Gear Solid games.
It's hard to tell in the game what
Do I have to put up that scene in Metal Gear Solid 1 where he runs past the guard in the Warhead stores room like 2 feet from him and he doesn't realize it?
It doesn't exist anymore. It's more of a modern, on-the-fly kind of game where you got to figure out stuff on your own. You can't rely on this map to tell you what to do in the mission.
You never
okay?
relied on anything else in the other games.
The iDroid has a map though too.
Scanned map that has like a 3D scale model of
You can't rely on help like the codec screens in Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, which I used constantly.
The combat is much easier. The CQC is just sneak up, press a button, or press it once or twice, and you're done. Versus the old CQC where it was like a complicated and you had to really figure out.
You had to hit one button.
I had to hold down one button and press another to interrogate. Damn. My hand cramped. You should have seen how gnarled it was after that.
I got so much exercise.
I almost became double jointed because of that game.
If you are about to be detected or you're in the process of being detected by someone, the game slows down into bullet time. And you now have an instance where you move faster than normal and you're able to possibly disable that troop, whether it's through shooting them in the face, shooting them in the body a few times so they die, maybe if you're close enough, grabbing them and doing CQC.
If you shot him in the face, he didn't die, but if you shot him a few times in the body, then he dies.
And the troops will not be alerted at all. If you fail, all the troops on the base will be alerted and they'll start coming out looking for you, okay? So it's an interesting feature, but a lot of the hardcore Metal Gear Solid fans are saying that's a crutch. You know, that shouldn't be in the game. That's for more modern gamers who don't want the more difficulty spike of never being detected, right? So there is actually...
It's not never being detected. It's, you know, taking responsibility for your fuck-ups.
If you wish to, because you want to play.
Don't rush out on the battlefield if you don't know exactly where everyone is.
So, outside of all that, your goal is to sneak through this camp. First of all, find one of the people who's been kidnapped in this camp, interrogate them, then extract them. And this is a cool new
So you have
thing.
to interrogate
There's actually the
Chico.
ability to call
You
in
have
a
to hold him
chopper.
up and interrogate him.
It's not. There are different parts you can call it into. Some of them could be unsafe parts where there's guards and you're risking now getting shot to have a chopper come in and try to extract someone. Or you could have safer parts that are outside of the camp, but of course it's more work to sneak completely out of the camp and not be detected. So in my playthrough, I found the male guy that I was trying to find. I freed him, called in a
The
chopper,
mailman?
rushed out with the dude on my shoulder, put him in the chopper evac'd, and they said, okay, now you gotta find the girl. The girl was not in an easy place. She was in a hidden bunker. So what you needed to do is listen to an audio tape.
Hidden
the guy
bunker.
had.
In that giant
First of all, you hear
base
sounds of
sitting
a
on the other
chopper.
edge of the
So you
island.
think, oh, it must be near a helipad. Then you hear a gate opening. You say, oh, it must be behind a gate. So you go to the helipad, you find the gate, you find a way in, and the way that I did was I snuck. There was actually a grating that you could sneak in and go through an air duct.
You know, if it's the thing we've played this, sometimes we haven't had no idea what the fuck he was talking about.
No, we would know what the fuck he's talking about, because he's going through step by step. Like, who watches the Hateful Truth episode 143 and doesn't watch Phil videos?
Underground bunker, found the girl.
Like, average Joe Schmo is not going to be like, what's this review? And then watch it. Oh, thanks for going play-by-play on me, Phil. It feels like I was right there with you.
Now I don't have to watch your shitty playthrough.
She wasn't in her cell. The whole base is on full alert. So now I was in full book it mode. I called the chopper out again. I ran out of there with the girl. Boom. Rescued her. Mission complete.
What about the part where
Chopper,
she
did
died?
I don't want to spoil.
Couple
Yeah, he
times.
left out the
Very well
2
written,
deaths.
the plot of this prequel and Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, which is coming out who knows when. And then it runs the credits and it's over. So all in all, my gameplay of doing the main mission of this game was 1 hour, was like 56 minutes, and it was probably about 30 minutes of cutscene. So you're talking an hour and a half. That is the main game of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Now, when you beat the main mission, you then get told, okay, here's how you did, here's your point rating.
I don't remember there being a half-hour cutscene. That cutscene was maybe about...
Never alerted the guards.
5 minutes were...
Because there were actually other prisoners, other refugees who you could have saved instead of just the one main male dude at the beginning of the mission. And other optional stuff. So there is replayability for you to want to go back, okay, and play and get a higher score. And that's traditionally what people who like Metal Gear Solid do. They challenge themselves to get the highest ratings and scores. Once you beat that main mission, it now unlocks 4 optional missions for you. And the optional missions range from various objectives. One of them is find 2 specific troops who are on the base and execute them because there's some kind of prisoner
Or you could extract them.
something like that.
You don't have to kill
One
them.
of them is do an on-rails shooter segment from a chopper to rescue a prisoner. And the big Easter egg here is the prisoner is Hideo Kojima, who is supposed to be a double agent. So it's very, very silly.
Is he a prisoner or a double agent? Which one is he, Phil?
There's another mission where you have to get intel, but you can't get the intel yet. You have to rendezvous with an undercover troop, and that troop will tell you, he's a double agent, he'll tell you where to get the intel. Then you have to go sneak across the base, go into like a guard tower that's very heavily guarded, and find the intel and get out of there in time after the guards are alerted. And then final side mission is there's anti-air turret guns in this base, and you have to blow
Did
them
you
up.
see the
Basically, you
video?
find people,
Snake said enough of your Guantanamo bullshit.
I saw that.
Everyone gets alerted, so you have to hide until the alert goes away, and then do the same thing with the other ones, and then get the fuck out of there. So I just
That's
described
infinitely
4
more
different
interesting than
missions,
this video.
but they all take place
Holy
in the
shit, we're
exact
only halfway
same
through this.
prison camp,
He didn't
military
unlock
base,
the
whatever you wanna call it,
deja
as
vu,
the main
because he didn't
mission.
get all the
So
Zoff
really,
patches.
Yeah, there's side content, but the side content is just doing optional objectives in the same exact area.
Gee whiz, maybe it's showing how much they could do in just that one area.
That I never played, and let me explain to you why. I played Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes on release day.
Once.
Okay.
I played it
In
once.
order to play the optional mission, now the optional mission supposedly is console specific. If you buy it on PS4, it's a different optional mission than you get on the Xbox One. Okay, I don't know, but in order to unlock it, you need to find 9 tapes. They call them
Patches.
tapes.
Patches.
All they are invisible items
Zoff
that are
patches.
hidden throughout this Cuban camp. So over the course of you doing all the content, the 4 side missions and the main campaign,
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with Phil heavily here. They're not invisible. You can see the fucking patch.
Yeah, I got them.
You can see the patch on Snake's ass. You can see the patch on top of the generator.
This optional side content mission. What the fuck were they thinking with
With
this?
Phil's giant 40-inch fucking TV and his HD PlayStation 4, how the fuck did he, like, miss those?
He wasn't wearing his glasses.
Quest with no clues whatsoever as to where these tapes are in order to proceed and unlock. Why? Just give me the fucking mission. And the thing that
I don't like
really
earning
pisses me
anything
off
or
with
discovering
Cigar
things on my
is
own.
that
Just give me it.
you
Give me it.
already have very limited
Look,
content. Like I said,
in this
the
next
beginning
game, could you
of
add
an hour
DLC
and a half,
where I
those
can
side
just pay
missions
$5 and
any
unlock everything? That'd be
cutscenes.
great.
You're talking maybe a half an hour each for each side mission. So what?
Could you just
3.5 to 4
give
hours
me
of
the
content
money,
up to this
YouTube,
point,
instead of me
and that's
putting
it.
stuff on the
Just give me
site?
the fucking mission.
I don't want to put any effort into it, but I want the
Content
reward.
that I paid for, right? It's incredibly bad game design. It really is. It's amateur hour game design in that regard.
The guy who's
So,
never made a game design knows nothing about computers.
Shut up, dude. I sat in on a 24-hour game conference once where we had to make our own video game, and I left after hour 1 because it was boring.
I hope that's a true story.
You know, with Phil, you never know.
The guy, he's too...
You think though, if he did that, he would somehow advertise that. You may know me as a one-time Street Fighter champion and game designer.
If you're a fan of the Metal Gear Solid series, you'll probably love those 5 hours. If you're
guy talking about game design, whose greatest accomplishment, or whose biggest contribution to fucking cinema is Project 7.
Dude, what about that banner on his Dark Side Phil YouTube channel?
Which one?
The one that says, I don't know, full commentary, zero bullshit, whatever the fuck his stupid saying is. That's a pretty valuable contribution.
Wiggling around with the thumbsticks, Snake in this game will now. It's common sense for us.
I don't know. This guy's like, it's bad game design. It's like, it's bad game design because I don't like it.
You know, for a guy who plays video games for a living, you'd think he'd be able to project what he would feel would be a good game design, give advice instead of just saying it sucks and that's it. Like, extrapolate, Phil. Tell me what would have been better. How would you have made it better than Amateur Night over there?
You could tell, if anything, what Ground Zeroes is a testament that when Phantom Pain comes
I mean, we
out,
bitch and moan
actually
about,
has a
you
lot
know,
of
like
content,
what we
it's gonna be an
did
amazing
like
game.
and didn't like
The
about
overall
Fallout
aspect
3
is
and New
it seems like
Vegas.
it could be very, very
Yeah.
interesting.
We say,
Yeah, we
like,
can
you
give
know,
we can give examples.
Is that
I don't know, it's like,
it's a joke and
I always
just-
felt
it shouldn't exist.
Fallout 3 had a better story, but when it comes to, like, the side questing and everything, I felt New Vegas did it
A
better.
lot of you might not know this. Back in the day, game magazines,
But I felt
I'm
Fallout
talking
3
probably
just had a
late
better
90s,
overall
early
story.
2000s, game magazines used to always be
Yeah,
packaged
check your
with
hat, buddy. It's
discs.
falling off.
This disc would have on it several demos, sometimes even like almost a pre-beta version of a game
Is this-
that's in development. Because these
Is he
game
just
studios
still,
back
is he
then, you know, the
even
internet
talking about
was
Ground
there,
Zeroes
but it
anymore?
wasn't as widespread
He's talking
as now,
about,
where they
like,
put out
demo discs.
videos of their games and
Like,
stuff.
that they did in the
wanted to see
PS2
their
era,
results ahead of
when they
time.
didn't
They
have
worked on it.
downloadable,
You would buy
when they
a
couldn't
Like-
do downloads.
whether it was
Like the
console or
PS1 demo
PC,
disc
you
and
would
the
upload
demo
it.
disc from PSM and shit like that. I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about.
Your PC,
When they
you'd have, like,
couldn't
a
do
2-hour
direct
demo of
downloads
the
like they
game
can
you'd
now.
play, and you'd be like, wow, I like this game. And then you would eventually go buy the game. This was very commonplace, right? This wasn't like, this was very common. Then that process kind of went away. And I hate to say it, but I hate the fact that it did, because now what ends up happening is instead of people playing a big, nice demo of a game to get a gist and get your hands on it and know what it's like, instead they just go and watch videos on the internet. And
Why
watch
would you
someone
hate
buy
that?
it or
You
somebody
of all
purchase it,
people.
And then they say, oh, okay, well, I saw the video, now I know I like it, or I don't like it, and then they go buy it. So it's different now.
The guy
Why
who
would you-
pirated the
This
Resident
used
Evil
to
6
become
demo.
like an hour and a half.
Excuse me.
Demo used to be
Yeah.
like the standard.
It's like they made it
the
a
norm.
region
And that kinda
specific
went
or
away,
something.
And now
But yeah, you could do something, or you could play a pirated version of it.
Mm.
Who's made basically what it is an embellished demo. It is only one small map with multiple.
Why is he complaining about it being a demo? Anyone who liked Metal Gear and knew this was going to be a demo for Phantom Pain.
I never took it as a demo. I took it as a prologue, like a prologue game to Phantom Pain.
But like, no one's forcing everyone to play this game in order to play the other Metal Gears or Phantom Pain. This is just out there. You want to play it, you play it. You don't, you don't. But he keeps railing at like, this is a demo, this is a demo, this is a demo. Yes, it is. You can get over that. No one forced you to play this demo.
Yeah, I actually am. Even though I suck at the games, I actually am a fan of the game.
Fan of Metal Gear Solid. You could ask him the most basic questions from Metal Gear Solid storyline. He couldn't answer them. The fact that he didn't remember Paz or Chico is testament to that.
You know, humor and drama that doesn't really belong. It's out of place in his game. I make fun of the guy, but the bottom line is his games are great. His games are fun, immersive, you know, interesting characters.
Wow.
Different locales. I love that.
This is where the montage of him calling out Kojima starts playing.
Just bring out the Castlevania 2 video.
That's kind of the feeling I had when I played Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. As I was playing it, I was like, wow, the improvements, the potential. I can't wait to get my hands on the full Phantom Pain game, and then just when you start...
I need those day one YouTube views.
The biggest slap in the face is that this game retails for $30. So it's
oh no, $30.
But this isn't a full retail game. This is a demo. This is a game demo.
And people who want to play it will play it, and people who don't want to shell out $30 for the demo won't pay it.
It should have been just
Ta-da!
a 90-minute mission. It should have been released for free over PlayStation Network and Xbox Live as a promotional thing for people who are interested.
I'm never gonna get those $30 back.
There is no excuse and no reason.
Man, now people are just gonna have to watch videos online to see if it's actually worth buying this game for $30. I guess I'll have to do it. Oh wait.
The whole thing is a cheap and disrespectful money grab.
I know about cheap and disrespectful money grabs.
Did Kojima come to your house fucking and slap you in the face for buying the game?
He came over and shook my hand and said thank you.
Oh, that's weird because you spat in mine and called me a whore.
Yeah, and then we sat on the couch and he told me all about the game while I was playing. I said, hey, Hideo, shouldn't you be working on the Phantom Pain? He said, no, I really want you to experience this game with me.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Now keep in mind, there is side content, but it's all on the same map and it's all pretty much more of the same, except for the on-rail shooter mission. So, again...
Couldn't you say that about any video game, though, really?
On-rail
like Grand Theft Auto? Grand Theft Auto, it's the same giant map. You do the same kind of missions on that same giant map.
I really like
on-rail shooter missions. Man, he'll love like that Rambo video game that came out. It's an on-rail shooters.
Would you put it past him if he reviewed that?
Fuck no.
And in fact, I'm gonna leave it at that. I know that usually in the Hateful Truth, I give you a review score, and I say this is the definitive score. I can't even review and give a score to Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes because it's not a game, it's a demo. So if you're okay with buying a $30 demo, you know what I mean? Go for it. But I get the feeling.
So is like the Stanley Parable a demo? Because you can beat that in like what, 30 minutes? That's not a game, Phil? Oh, you don't have to pay $30 for that.
Hundreds of copies of this game just sitting on the fucking shelf that will never be purchased.
Are they all PS4 copies? Because people around here don't have PS4s.
And I traded it in. I actually traded it in that Friday to get another game that had come out. And the assistant manager of the store was there, and I'm friendly with him. And he says, let me tell you something, Phil. This week, every time that I sold this game, I was instructed by my management to warn the person who's buying the game and literally tell them, you have to understand this game is only about an hour and a half long unless you're going to do the side.
Doubt that, seriously.
They didn't want customers coming back in droves, angry and ripping pissed that they paid $30 for a game demo.
Fucking
unbelievable. Just think about that. The major
who the hell gives their shit in a wad over $30 too?
Just to avoid problems. So, How ridiculous. How is that fair to game stores who had no idea, okay, we'll
You know
we'll
what?
sell this game.
Fuck Phil.
They
I'm
get
gonna
all these
look up
copies, they buy
the
them, and now they put it on the shelf. No
see
one's
if there's
gonna
any
buy it.
sale units on Ground
It's
Zeroes.
it's a slap in the face. It's ridiculous. And I don't know how people cannot chastise Konami for doing this. It wasn't Kojima's. That's the thing. A lot of people say, oh, Kojima. It wasn't Kojima's decision. Kojima doesn't make those decisions. Kojima makes the games. He doesn't sell the games, price the games, promote the games, or market the games.
What's he talking
just
about?
makes them.
Because
So he made
Dead
this,
Space, and I
they
don't wanna
promised him,
fucking
we have
think.
a great idea. We're gonna sell it for $30. And he's like, you do what you want, but I can't control that shit.
on
People are gonna
April
develop a bad
25th,
taste in their mouth.
2014, Konami announced that the game shipped 1 million copies worldwide.
What the fuck was
The PlayStation 4 version is sold 3
And the
times
other
more than
thing,
the
the flip
Xbox
side
One
of this,
version.
a lot of people are
That's
already
shipping
speculating, well,
units,
here's what's
not
probably gonna
sold
happen. If you buy
units.
the collector's edition of Phantom Pain, it'll probably come with this for free. I agree.
Point being,
I don't know
though-
what the fuck they're gonna do with all the copies of this game. So it is what it is. Konami did what they wanted to do. It's a cheap money grab. It's disrespectful to the gamers and the retailers.
Did he say something about them gonna
But for what it is,
ship it together with Phantom Pain?
Yeah.
For Phantom Pain. So what I could say is this: I'm happy I played Ground Zeroes. I'm very, very positive, and I'm very optimistic about the future of the series. I think that Phantom Pain could be very good, based off of what I saw on Ground Zeroes, especially the graphics.
Graphics, son.
But this
Damn
game
graphics,
is
son.
a slap in the face to gamers. It is
I'm
not
coming
a game
10 gallons
to
over the
buy.
graphics,
If anything,
bro.
you must play it
Coming
and rent it
graphics.
for $5 somewhere, and then put it back, because that's pretty much the value of it. Okay. Don't be fooled with fanboyism. Oh my God, everything Kojima puts out there is gold. Do not buy Ground Zeroes. Rent it, borrow it, or watch a playthrough, and then realize how good.
Make sure you watch
it is.
my
Do not
playthrough.
take Konami's
I need the money.
They're a bunch of fucking money-grabbing assholes. And the bottom line is this: if you
Couldn't you call them money-grabbing assholes if they were selling it for $60?
Shadow 2, maybe you wouldn't have to do a cheap money grab with Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. But your
He's still
management
pissed about
obviously
Lords of
doesn't
Shadow
know what the
2.
fuck they're doing, and there needs to be a little shift internally.
Like, even Konami said, okay, so this isn't like a full game that people expect to play these days, because God forbid we do anything but Call of Duty.
And
So
that's
let's
it.
reduce it down to
I think the maximum
$30.
truth and minimum bullshit on this new game release. And
I could probably play
much for
Ground
watching.
Zeroes more for $30 than I
I'll see you
could a
next
new
time
game
for
for
another game
60.
review that is honest, truthful, and free of bullshit. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you later.
I'm more excited for Ground Zeroes than I was for any Call of Duty release.
It just baffles me that he keeps railing on it for A, the game being a demo, and B, it being $30. Would you rather them put it for 60, Phil? Would that have made you happier? And then because it was $60, you couldn't call it a demo, you could call it a game because it's full retail price. Can we call Phil videos demos since they're not full length, like 30-minute videos? They're cut up into 10-minute parts?
I could. Yes, we could.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, that was a full video that Phil put out. It was 27 minutes long. It was front to back, no breaks in between.
Yeah.
And then on his main channel, those are the demos he shows of his gameplay videos.
Yeah. He puts out demo videos on his gaming channel.
Yeah, I'm still looking for that, hour-long playthrough of whatever the fuck came out this week. I'm sure he's playing. So how pissed are you that Phil didn't give a review for Ground Zeroes, even though he gave a review for Ground Zeroes?
That was a review?
Well, he said he can't give it a rating or a review or whatever he said, but then he said rent it, borrow it. Them graphics, son. I'm very excited for Phantom Pain because I played this game now.
Well,
But he won't give it a review because it's a demo.
Well, if he's happy for it, about he played it, then that's money well spent.
Do you think maybe he's confusing like engine demo for game demo? Like, if anything, Ground Zeroes is just to show off the Fox engine.
Yeah. A game demo's like,
The game demo is like what I had on the PlayStation 1, where it had like one level from Parappa the Rapper and maybe one level from Armored Core.
yeah.